Hey guys, all right, today I'm going to be talking all about the idea of work-life balance or lack thereof, or somewhere in the middle, right? The way that I see it as a millennial is that I should be, if I'm a real millennial, going one way, but in reality, I kind of view work-life balance the opposite. So I want to walk you through my whole mindset with it and how you might be able to apply some of it to your own lifestyle. Check it out. Hey guys, this is Logan, Holster with Contractor Growth Network, and today I'm going to be talking all about work-life balance. What do I mean by that? There's really three different games that you play in the game of life when it comes to working, right? Because you got to work, and it almost seems like you literally live your entire life to work, and then when you finally make it, you're 63 years old, and then what? There's three different games that you can play, and I'm going to walk you through which game I'm in and what the other two games are, and a lot of the sacrifices that I think it really takes to maintain playing in this game, and then finally the whole idea of burnout. I've gotten pretty close to burnout, so I'll show you exactly what I'm doing to try to make sure that I will tote that line, but I don't step over and screw myself over. So here we go. So it was all set up to me by my dad about there's really three games when it comes to the whole idea of work-life balance. You're gonna get the same amount of work and you're gonna get the same amount of life for the most part. It all just really depends on when do you actually take that balance of mixing life into the whole work aspect of things. That's what makes all three games different, and here's what I really mean. Game number one, you're generally gonna be working a 9 to 5. Game number two, you're probably more on the seasonal side of things or a contract worker where you might work really hard for 9 months out of the year, then you take 3 months off. And then game number three is where you work really hard all year long for like the first 20 years of life, and then you hit the age of 45 and you've made it. It's really the same amount of time spent working and the time spent hanging out. It's just, do you sacrifice immediate happiness and delay that happiness for the end, or do you just take it little bites at a time? Here we go. So game number one, we'll call this the 9 to 5. All right, so what this looks like is you show up at work, then from there we're gonna go right into, we'll say, you got a happy hour from 5 until 7. So this is your life aspect of it. Then maybe after your happy hour, you go home, you watch Netflix from 7 to 9, okay? 9 o'clock hits, then maybe you just kind of mess around. You just mess around on social media because as a 28-year-old, this happens all the time. 11 o'clock hits, and then you start to get ready for bed, and then you sleep from 11 until 7 a.m. Get up at 7, maybe you go to the gym for a half an hour, and then you get right back to work. So that is your normal work day. You start at 9, you end at 5, you do your happy hour, which is your life balance. You do your Netflix, again, your life balance. You hang out for a little bit, then you go to bed. And then on the weekends, you're pretty much off on the weekends. Okay, maybe you do a little bit of work here, a little bit there, but for the most part, you stop work Friday at 5 o'clock and you pick it right back up Monday at 9 a.m. And this is, it's nice. I mean, yes, you might have a stressful job from 9 to 5, but for the most part, you get to relax and de-stress at the end of each day, which, as you can imagine, is a pretty cool perk. Game number two is more in the contract position, meaning you're a landscaper. You can only work from, let's say, February until December. So we'll just call this, seasonal. So let's say you start 8 a.m. and, 8 p.m. You don't really have a happy hour. Let's say you just still kind of come home, hang out for a little bit. 10, and then you're going to bed at 10 because you're starting an hour earlier. 10 until 6 a.m. Weekends, you probably are working on Saturdays and maybe the occasional Sunday. So you're really working hard during the week and even on the weekends, but then you're doing this, you're seasonal. So you're starting in January, or you're starting in February, March, and you're ending in December, which means that you're doing this 9 out of the 12 months a year. In this case, instead of taking your every single day life, you're taking your life at long spurts at a time. Game number three, this is kind of the long game, and this is the game that I'm trying to play right now. My goal is to start and end earlier and later, and then that way, if I do that for long enough, I can back half life, or at least have the opportunity where at 40, 45, I put in all the work stuff, so if I want, I can take life as I please. Actually, I'll break down my day, how about that? Start every day just about 8 o'clock in the morning. On average, 8 p.m., 12-hour day, okay? Come home, I usually, let's just say I watch Netflix with my girlfriend from 8 until 10, and then I sleep until either 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning, depending on which work, I either go to a 5 a.m. workout class or a 6 a.m. It's flip-flops back and forth, but either way, I'm getting about 6.5 to 7.5 hours of sleep each night, which for me is enough. And then weekends, it's generally, as far as work goes, it's about 5 or 6 hours a day per day. So all in all, you're looking at about 70 hours every single week. This is pretty consistent because I'm a pretty routine and just, I like being under the gun or feeling the pressure, and truthfully kind of plan on doing this for as long as I can keep it up. Don't really have family, don't really have too many responsibilities outside of making sure this business grows as fast as I want it to grow. So that's kind of the 3 buckets. Bucket 1, the 9 to 5er. Bucket 2, seasonal. Bucket 3, you're playing the long game, meaning you're trying to set up your back half of life by putting all the time and effort into the front half of your life. So let's walk through, I'll erase this. We'll walk through what are you really sacrificing when it comes to that long game mindset and lifestyle. So for the whole idea of game number 3, which is back halving life, I'm 28. What my life should look like is more along the lines of going out, exploring, soiling my wild oats, whatever you want to call it. That's what my world should look like right now, is dealing with IPA beers, avocado toast, just all the little expensive things that add up over time, but making sure that I'm only really working the whole 9 to 5 game. But this is kind of like with this game number 3, which is the back half of life, this is really all the stuff that I'm actually like giving up right now for that delayed happiness. When you're disciplined and stuff, usually that has a better outcome. So by the fact that I just like it and I seek it out, it actually works better for me, both in the near future and the distant future. And this is kind of all the stuff that I am giving up right now. So I've got hard stuff and soft stuff. Hard stuff are gonna be tangible things that I'm having to give up, and soft stuff are gonna be like the emotions or things like that that are related to those things that I am giving up. Let's say one of the first hard things that I'm giving up is I can't go to happy hours. I don't have time to go out and drink. Something else I don't get. I don't go out and spend my money on like material things like that because I'm trying to save it up right now. I don't need to go out and buy a brand new car for the status side of things because I'd rather just put that right back into the business and grow it that way. So again, delayed happiness. Vacations. Yes, I do go on a couple vacations a year. They're quick, 1 week. They're not these elongated things. I'll walk you through why I like doing these vacations a lot and when I actually do them. It's a little bit more strategic in how it kind of plays into everything mindset-wise because it really helps with burnout. Family time. I don't have a family. New clothes. Another thing that I'm not getting is I will go out, I'll get a couple shirts each year from Target, which cost about 10 bucks each, and that's it. So if you've noticed in all these videos that you watch, I'm wearing like the same like 7 shirts because I literally go out and spend 10, 15 bucks a shirt. That's all my stuff for the year, and I'm done. Steve Jobs. Dude wore a turtleneck every single day. Right? Pretty sure he wore it in the shower. You just pick the same thing, and I'm not going for the whole like, oh, it's one less thing to think about each day. It's just, I don't want to spend money on stuff that I don't necessarily need. So here's just some of the basic stuff that you're giving up on, like that's like the hard aspects of life of this is what I don't prioritize anymore because it doesn't help me. So here's what kind of comes with that, right? Happy hour. What happens when I'm missing out on happy hour? I'm missing out on friendships. There's a lot of people I used to hang out with a lot, and I actually had this conversation last night with my girlfriend where she said, I miss you wanting to go out and like see people. Like a lot of the friends that I'm friends with now, it's mainly work people or people that are like in the same mindset as far as like growing their career, growing their business, because I don't value this stuff. And these two are almost synonymous. Status, new car, right? Who wants to be driving around in an older car? Nobody. And when you get a new car, especially here in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is like finance capital of like the South. Everybody's got a Beamer, and I'm rolling around with some Buick. It's like a grandfather's car, right? But when you give up the new car and the new clothes, there goes your status. All these things about like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm making it, I'm an entrepreneur just so I can buy the jet, that's gone. So that is a delayed thing. You can get the status with the new car and the new clothes later and the vacations and stuff like that, but that status, you put that bad boy on the back burner because you're giving that up right now. Vacations, family time, you lose time. I think at this point, like a lot of my vacations are still just like with my parents and my siblings, and we meet up twice a year for about a week max. Once you've left high school and you moved out of the house, it's like 96% of the amount of time that you spend face-to-face with your parents is now over. And for me, I'm even limiting that last 4% because I'm sacrificing my time for the business and I'm giving up vacations, family time, all those things that a lot of people like to really spend their energy on. So for me, that's gone too. Because I'm giving up these hard things, here's what I'm truly missing out on is friendships, social status, and time, right? That's like literally like the whole point of life is to have these three things. Plus you want to throw money in there, I guess that could be another thing, but that's more of just a physical thing. This is stuff that you can't really get back. A lot of people out there who own businesses, own them, they have families, right? Well, here's the long and short of it. I'm 28 and I don't have a family and I'm willing to sacrifice all this stuff and sacrifice this versus somebody else who's, let's say, is also 28 and they have a marketing company and they have a family that they can't sacrifice this stuff, or they have this desire to go out and buy flashy cars. Well, guess who's gonna win? I'm gonna win every single time because that extra couple hours a week that they're spending going out and having fun and building those friendships and having those happy hours, well, guess what I'm doing? I'm here working, or I'm building, you know, like skills, like sales skills or just general like psychology skills, stuff like that that's relevant, and that adds up over time. So the more that you're willing to sacrifice this stuff, the more that your life is gonna go up like that. And the more that you're not, you're probably gonna be closer to that. You're still working up, which is fine, but you're not gonna be going up this exponential route. And I think one of the problems is that all these entrepreneurs out there, you see them, but you see the end result, right? You see the Tom Brady that's got 6 rings, but you didn't see the Tom Brady that was applying to jobs after college because he didn't know what was gonna happen with him. And now he puts in all the time and he's watching game film and all that kind of stuff, and you just see the 6 rings. Same with entrepreneurs like the Grant Cardones out there and the Ed Milet's, like they didn't have the happy hours or the new cars or the vacations or the family time or the clothes or any of the soft stuff that really matters in life. They don't have any of that stuff because they want to be up here, not over here. If you're not willing to put this stuff in and sacrifice this stuff, that's fine. Just understand that you're gonna be on a slow growth. But if this slow growth is not really cutting it for you, either start to sacrifice this stuff or leave, go back and get back in game 1 or game 2, because game 3 is just not for you. So look at the car burnout. All right, burnout. What the hell is burnout? In essence, this is like depression when it comes to work. I have yet to experience this. And here's how I avoid this whole idea of burnout. If you're watching this and you own a business, you start to understand the amount of stuff that goes on that you have to deal with every single day is a lot. But what I've started to do is actually write down at the beginning of each morning, what do I need to accomplish today? And I'll even write it up on this board because I want to know as soon as I finish something, I'll come cross it off because it shows that I'm actually accomplishing stuff every single day. Number 2 is the other way that I like to do it. Strategic vacations. Knowing that you've got some sort of vacation or something coming up and you just have to work and suck it up until then. That really helps me out because for me, it's mini finish lines. I understand that I want to work, let's say potentially until like I'm 45 and then have the opportunity to retire then or whatever I want to do, but you can't look out that far. It's tough to like look out and go, wow, that's 17 years away. So by having little checkpoints along the way, it helps. And also before, this is something that was explained to me that like makes so much sense, is starting big stuff after a vacation. Because usually what happens is you think, oh, at the end of it, I'm gonna reward myself with a nice vacation or a nice time off, instead of starting off by relaxing. There's a reason that most of like the CEOs and like business leaders in the world and like people who are like #1 in their sports, there's a reason they all meditate in the morning to get their mind and their body right for what's coming up. So if you're about to start a big project or do something that's big that's coming up, make sure that you have a vacation planned beforehand, or at least take like an extra like 1 day off just to like kind of recoup, get your mind right, get ready to go. So that way when it comes time to having to, put yourself in the game, you're all set, you're all ready to go. Guys, I hope that all really helped. It's the big 3 things when it comes to work-life balance is 1, just understand which game that you're really playing. Are you the 9-to-5er? Are you the seasonal? Or are you the back halfer? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what works best for your lifestyle. Guys, do me a favor, like this video if you got any value of it all, because please, it really helps out the YouTube algorithm. And I love talking about this stuff, but at the same time, I want to make sure that this is actually not falling on deaf ears. So if this helped you in any way, do me a favor, hit that like button and we'll be good to go. Thanks.